Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul-aligned wealth. I'm your guide, Wanda F. Nesbit. Let's break free, build boldly, and live fully together. Part 2. Signs your energy is being drained. Let's be real. How do you know your energy is leaking? Well, do any of these sound familiar to you? First and foremost, you feel anxious, heavy, or unsettled after being around, those certain individuals or those certain environments. You might even get like chronic fatigue and emotional exhaustion. If after certain meetings or calls or encounters, I'll put it that way, you feel wiped out, not just physically, but emotionally, that is a mega red flag. Medical psychology studies show emotional exhaustion manifests as persistent tiredness, foggy focus, even poor memory. It's more than being just tired. You know how they say, oh, you're just tired. It's deeper. It's cumulative. You can find more information about this in the Medical News Today journal. Secondly, you walk away from situations exhausted. Even if nothing physically happened. That's the crazy part. How do you physically be so exhausted? And it's like, okay, I was just sitting there. It taxes your physical being, physical symptoms begin to manifest. You might get a headache. You definitely can have trouble sleeping. You might get an ulcer or your stomach just gets messed up. Tension will wind up somewhere in your body. Those ain't random. Your body is expressing what the boundaries didn't protect. Research on burnout shows that some of these symptoms are one of the most common side effects when emotional resources have been overdrawn. This is talked about in Science Direct. Thirdly, of course, you struggle to focus on your purpose because your emotional space is demanding those environments, your external environments, instead of your true environment. You know what I mean? So everybody else is demanding your time. As I mentioned in episode 5, reclaiming your inner authority, you must protect your space at all times and trust your God-given discernment and spirit. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been fatigued or irritable after being in a certain space or around certain people? Relational fatigue and irritability are another clear sign your energy is drained. Pay attention next time. Pay attention to your environment. You might notice after certain people and spaces, you just snap. Have a little attitude. Or you avoid social settings because even being around nice enough people, you find it still drains you. Psychological papers connect lack of emotional boundary setting to more resentment, social withdrawal, and mood shifts. You can check that information out in the Frontiers Journal. Another way your focus will be affected, it is with, like we said before, mental fog, lack of clarity, purpose drift. When your energy is being chipped away, it is harder to focus on your own goals. You might find yourself reactively responding to everything instead of actively designing your life. You already heard it. I have been there and done that, but I'm cleaning it up. studies go on and they talk about burnout and emotional exhaustion, and it shows that cognitive loads, making decisions and focusing, they get reduced when emotional stressors are high. So the more stressed out you are, the more likely you will make poor decisions. That's just what it is. If any of those sound familiar, just know it's your spirit saying, hey, it's time to set stronger boundaries. Protect yourself. Part 3. Why boundaries equal purpose. Well, when your energy leaks, your purpose gets diluted. Think about it. You can't pour into your calling if you're constantly leaking energy into someone else's storm. Mm, God forbid, if you're constantly pouring into everyone else's emotional fires, what's left for your own calling? Protecting your peace fuels your creativity. It strengthens your alignment. And most importantly, it allows you to show up fully in the work God designed for you. Research in psychology shows that when people experience emotional exhaustion, their ability to stay creative, resilient, and motivated drops significantly. And you know what that means? That means that the very gift that I gave you, your purpose, ends up malnourished. But here's the truth: boundaries are not selfish, boundaries are sacred. They protect that gift you've been entrusted with, they protect the clarity you need to live aligned with your assignment. When you guard your peace, you guard your purpose. When you guard your peace, you guard the purpose. Boundaries are the container that keeps your energy available for what truly matters: your spiritual growth, your goals, your family, your financial freedom. So the next time you feel guilty about saying no, remember, you're not closing a door. You're preserving your divine assignment. Part 4. How to build energetic boundaries. All right. Now let's talk about how. Let's truly get practical with this. This is the most important thing. How do you actually set these energetic boundaries? Let me give you 4 tools you can start using today. Of course, because you've heard me say it time and time again, visualization. So let's try it. When you're in a safe spot or place, close your eyes and imagine a circle of golden light. Imagine that this golden light is surrounding all around you. That is your shield. Nothing negative can penetrate this shield. Imagine stress, negativity, outside demands. They bounce off of. How would that make you feel? I think, and actually studies have shown, the brain responds to that imagery because it shows calm. It shows peace. And the nervous system and the strength that you need to deflect negativity is strengthens, which makes you resistant to that negative stuff. And how? Okay. So we'll go back to the body. Your body gives you clues. Pay attention to what your body tells you. Your body really does talk to you. You are not crazy. If after an encounter with a person or sitting in a setting, you notice your shoulders getting tight, your chest feeling heavy, you get a crook in your neck, those are early warning signs that your boundary is being crossed. Instead of ignoring it, pause, reset. If you need to leave that environment, get up, remove yourself from that area, go to the bathroom, go get some water, go to the corner store, get a whatever. But do something so that you can leave that dynamic quickly. Or if it's one of those situations that, you wouldn't be able to come right back to, just leave. Gather your stuff up and leave. Hopefully you don't have to drive. Maybe you can walk, because I don't believe in driving if you are on the angry side. If you haven't hit the angry side, go ahead and drive off. But put yourself back in like a better place, in a mental space that's even better, so that your body starts to respond the same way. The second thing is simple phrases. Boundaries do not have to be long explanations. Please don't over explain why you're creating your boundaries. Keep it short. Keep it simple. A good, not right now, is good enough. If people can't understand it after you give that cautionary statement, walk away. Or if you want to be tech savvy, I don't have the bandwidth. Some people might understand, some people might not. But you'll figure out the verbiage that you need so that you can give people a warning that this isn't it. I'd even heard, and I've used it a couple of times, can we revisit this later? Let's revisit this later. One of those variations. I'll do that. Because it's not a good time right now. You have to do that. Some people say you don't have to give other people warning. I say, why not? Let them know. Because then they'll see that you are forewarning them. It's a cautionary. You're not a red alert right yet, but it's a cautionary note to let them know that, listen, fall back. Without telling them to fall back. The third way is spiritual alignment. Invite God into your boundaries. Pray over your space. Pray over your day. Pray over your energy. Hand over any kind of guilt that you have and let the Spirit fortify that shield. When you start to put up boundaries, you will get outside influences that won't like it, because they were always able to reach you whenever they felt like it. And you became, nothing against them, but you became the garbage man of their issues. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing. Honestly, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. When you set your boundaries, you are actually aligning with divine guidance. So the key is, as with everything, consistency. Put something in place so that you start to protect yourself and reinforce yourself more. And eventually, you will become strong. Part 5. Kind of do some reflection. There was a lot that we discussed, so we need to put some things in place, practical things that you can do, even outside of what we just talked about, what you can do on a day to day or situation by situation um, implementation. These practices will hone in more and ground you more. So I say do them when you can. Of course, always when you're in a safe location. These can be around 3 to 5 minutes, depending on uh, your purpose. You know how further you're trying to go with this process. So what I tend to do, I've said it before, I love to meditate. So this is basically meditation. Grounding is basically meditation. So close your eyes. Always take in a deep breath. Remember, what are we breathing in? Life. The breath of life God put into us. Refresh it again. Take in those deep breaths. What I tend to do is I tend to hold it for 5 seconds and then release 5 seconds. It's a slow thing. This isn't one of those things where you rush through. You will feel your body start to reset. Allow that process of breathing in. You could do taking in your deep breaths. I'll say it this way. I'll do it sometimes 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. That's why I said this can be a 3 to 5 practical practice you can do. 3 to 5 minute practical practice you can do. Because sometimes I will sit in this place of taking in my deep breath longer than anything else that I do, if that makes sense. The next thing I tend to do is just go into this visualization. So while I'm holding my breath and releasing my breath, of course, that becomes rhythmic. Something about rhythm. It does something with you when you're trying to focus and uh, get in that place of grounding. When you do that, you start to visualize emptiness. And a lot of times emptiness looks kind of goldenly or a white light, as some people might say. Not the white light. Not the white light. Just the white light. It's like I don't even know what the proper word is for that, but it's a light that allows you to just focus in on. And you'll start to see that just start forming around you. It's actually a awesome spirit, but you gotta be in that place in that moment. Like I said, you gotta get your breathing right, and when you start doing it, you'll experience it. And once you start to see that visualization, then we'll go to the third, where you speak to yourself. You tell yourself, "Hey, I'm safe. My energy is fine. My energy is mine." I said two different things. I said my energy is fine and my energy is mine. My peace is protected. Now, those are different words and sentences I have used before. Normally not all together, but I will say I am safe. I am safe. That might be one day. And then I might say, my energy is mine another day. So it just depends. You pick and choose what you're feeling it. And you'll get whatever words that you need for you as you continue this. A journaling prompt you might do after your session. Where in my life do I feel most drained? And what boundary can I set this week to reclaim my peace? I'm going to say it again. Where in my life do I feel most drained? And what boundary can I set this week to reclaim my peace? I challenge you. Take a few moments, even with that question, take a few moments after this episode and respond honestly. Respond. See how you feel. I don't know where you're listening to this, in the car, in your house, looking at, the YouTube, wherever. But at the present moment, are you stressed out? Is someone draining your energy? Where can you create boundaries to reclaim your peace, even in this moment? You might be surprised how you release some tension. And you already know, by journaling, you will reveal what spirit is trying to tell you and how spirit is trying to guide you in dealing with that situation or circumstance. Please, please remember, protecting your energy isn't about pushing people away. Please know that it's not about pushing people away. It's about protecting your peace so you can live in alignment with God's purpose over your life. That's it. You have to protect your peace so you can live in alignment with your true purpose that God gave you. When you stop energy drainage, you step into clarity, strength, and freedom. Until next time, keep flowing in freedom. Thanks for flowing with us on the Liberating River. Subscribe, share, and come back next week for more wisdom, wealth, and alignment. Stay free, stay grounded, stay bold.